Hello po. Good day to each and everyone. Pasensya na po sa boses ko. Excuse me. Yeah. Good day po again to each and everyone. Our report for today is all about the feminist therapy. I would be reporting the first two parts. However, my group mates will be reporting the latter parts. Before we start, I would like to say that this feminist therapy is parang nag-evolve siya from the feminist movement of the 1960s, which provided a parang forum for women to actively articulate their dissatisfaction with their second-class citizenship in a patriarchal social system. So, makikita natin mamaya that yung feminism therapy encompasses a range of belief systems based on the principle that women and members of other subordinate groups in society, parang they are saying that they should have political, economic, and social rights equal to those of men and other dominant group members. So, simulan natin sa proponents. Based on my research, I saw that there are 8 proponents and co-author of this feminist therapy or theory. So, first would be Laura Brown. She is a clinical and forensic psychologist in Seattle, Washington, and she writes and speaks about feminist therapy, trauma, cultural competence, and ethics. Also, she wrote Ethics and Standards of Psychotherapeutic Practice, Cultural Competence, LGBT Mental Health Issues. Next would be Lillian Comas-Diaz. She was born in Chicago, Illinois. She is an American psychologist and researcher of multi-ethnic and multicultural communities. She was the 2019 winner of American Psychological Association and she is a gold medalist. She identified psychologists' limitations in addressing the needs of underserved populations and became an advocate for them. So she integrated her professional, personal, and political experiences to conceive a feminist liberation model. Number 3 would be Barbara Hershey. So she was born in September 6, 1913 at Cambridge, Massachusetts, United States. She is a professor in practice and doctoral program director in the counselor education program at the University of Texas at San Antonio, and she is a counselor in school, community agency, and private practice settings. Dr. His research has focused on ethical issues in counseling, social justice and advocacy, feminist therapy, and transcultural counseling. Next would be Gerald Curry. Yes, he is a male and he was born at Washington and he is a professor emeritus of human services at California State University at Fullerton. His best-selling text covers 10 contemporary theories which are psychoanalytic, Adlerian, existential, person-centered, Gestalt, reality, behavior, cognitive behavior, family systems, and the new one to this edition is the Feminist, and she demonstrates how each theory can be applied to a single case. So kung maalala natin, siya yung author ng main reference na binigay ni Ma'am sa atin before. Number 5 would be Jean Baker Miller. She was born September 29, 1927 at the Bronx, New York, United States. She was a psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, social activist, feminist, and author. Apart from that, she wrote toward the new psychology of women, which brings psychological thought together with relational cultural theory. Next in line is Caroline Zerb Enz. She was born May 3, 1951 in Yokohama, Japan. However, she was an American psychologist, a licensed psychologist at Iowa, a member of APA or the Barbara Kirk Award 1987, a member of SCA, Association Women and Psychology, Midwestern Psychological Association, Iowa Psychological Association. Next would be Olivia Spin, and she was born December 12, 1938 at Santiago de Cuba, Cuba, and she is an Cuban-American counseling psychologist known for her pioneering intellectual contributions to the feminist therapy, immigration, and women's studies, and of course her advocacy on the behalf of refugee women to help them gain access to mental health services. And lastly would be Carol Gilligan, and she was born November 28, 1936 at the New York, United States. And of course, she is an American feminist ethicist and psychologist, best known for her work on ethical community and ethical relationships. So, apart from that, she is best known for her research into the moral development of girls and women. Okay, so we now go to the short background or the introduction. So, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, feminist theory is different from other. From other more traditional theories in that it includes an appeal for social justice and advocacy for social changes. So, kung makikita natin dito is that this feminist therapy have criticized many traditional theories to the degree that they are based on gender-based concepts like yung androcentric, gender-centric, ethnocentric, heterosexist, and of course the intrapsychic. So we can see here that the construct of feminist therapy include being gender fair, flexible, interactionist, and of course the lifespan oriented. So it says here that the feminist perspective is grounded in the belief that traditional theories of human nature and human development created by Western males in their own image are not universally applicable. That is why they have criticized it. Rather, feminists believe it is essential to recognize that women and men are socialized differently and that gender role expectations begin to influence human development from a moment a child is born. Of course nga naman, it is because pag men ka, meron na agad silang expectation from you. Likewise with women, that men should not try to show weaknesses and women must show weaknesses or dependency. Parang ganun. Next would be, we can see here that gender role socialization has been defined as multifaceted process occurring across the lifespan of reinforcing specific beliefs and behaviors that a society considers appropriate based on biological sex. So, we can see na yung process na ito or this belief has limiting effects on both women and men and has a lifelong consequences. It is because men are encouraged to be intelligent, achieving, and assertive, and to go after what they want. However, women may have a kind of wisdom called the women's intuition, but are discouraged from being intellectually challenging or competitive. It is because before kasi, ang pangit ng dating sa lalaki kapag yung women is competitive. Kasi their ideal image of women before is that be vulnerable, weak, kasi nga they will be protected by men. Next would be men are encouraged to be independent, and expression of dependency needs by men may be regarded as weak or effeminate. And by contrast, women's dependency on others is less likely to be viewed in a negative light. Next, men are expected to be rational, logical, and stoic. Women, although they are expected to be emotional, may be labeled hysterical when they overtly express strong emotions. For men, anger may be the only emotion that can be expressed acceptably and then primarily as a means of control, whereas it is more acceptable for women to cry or to ask for help. Even today's, pag umiiyak yung mga lalaki is they would parang regard him as bakla or weak. Kasi nga, since they are men, they shouldn't be crying, which is wrong naman. And experience is viewed as enhancing a man's sexual attractiveness, but Western culture send mixed messages to young women and that women are expected to be sexually attractive with their bodies on display, yet they are discouraged from making sexual choices and developing a healthy sexual identity. So, for the view of human nature, we can see that gender and power are not the heart of feminists actually. So, parang this theory is a system approach that recognizes the cultural, social, and political factors that contribute to the individual problem. That is why when it comes to the view of nature, it says here that gender fair. They seek gender fair among men and women, and that flexible multicultural perspectives uses concepts and strategies that apply equally to individuals and groups regardless of age, race, culture, gender, ability, class, or sexual orientation. So, hindi lang siya between men and women but across cultural relationship. So, interactionist contains concepts specific to the thinking, feeling, and behaving dimensions of human experience and account for contextual and environmental factors. Lifespan perspective assume that human development is lifelong process and that personality and behavior changes can occur at any time rather than being fixed during early childhood. So, parang developmental siya in a way that it is dynamic since while growing up, we are subject to change and growth. Ayan, so we can see here that the source of difficulty is of course the context of marginalization, oppression, subordination, and stereotyping. And of course, to add with this is gender inequality. Ayan, so thank you for listening. So, gaya ng sabi ko sa kanina, the latter parts will be reported by my group mates. So, abangan ninyo yan sa part 2 and 3. Thank you and have a blast.